At Virgin Active, we are using Agentic AI in several ways along the member journey. So in the pre-sales, before we actually do a sale to a member, we use Agentic AI to determine the best offer to give to a potential customer. So we will look through that customer's engagement with us. We will be speaking to that customer about what their goals are, what they want to achieve, and then we use Agentic AI to inform that process. It's still very much in development, and we're using different sales CRM systems that have different types of Agentic AI and agents involved, but we're moving towards a much more personalized model. And then when we go into a member onboarding process, so once someone's actually had the sale, they've become a member, the member onboarding process is then very personalized. And there we're using Agentic AI to inform the type of personalization. Go so far as to do hyper-personalization and creating very specific segments and talking to those segments about their interests and engaging them on the onboarding. And once they're using our facilities, so they're going to classes or they're experiencing different things within the venues, we then will inform them of other things of interest. We also want to look at wearables in the future and see whether we integrate any data from those wearables into the agentic journey and the information that we give people. So overall, it should be about personalization, relevant recommendations, and then making their experience a lot more relevant for them. At Virgin Active, the way we identify the marketing touchpoints where Agentic feels natural is trying to understand what a consumer is going through during their journey. So in a pre-member state, when they are still searching and looking at information about potential competitors, we try to understand what their research process is. And Agentic can really fit in there. So Agentic can be about the recommendations that get surfaced to them, and we want to be in that process. So understanding from their brand selection perspective, what are their considerations? What's really high up on their list? So if they're looking at price, are they looking at location? Are they looking at services? And Agentic can then come in, review all of that, so take data points from their life and from what they're going through with their selection process, and then cross-reference it with what we have to offer. So that's one area that Agentic can be utilized in that touch point. And then once they are members as well, we also look at what their behavior is, what are they interested in, what do they respond well to? So when we send CRM communications, what is their engagement like? And from those groups and the responses we get, we can then create smaller segments of people or these groups that are highly nuanced. And that again is a data trigger point that we can use to target very specifically, informed by Agentic, with the right offer at the right time. AI is changing the way customers engage with Virgin Active in multiple ways. AI is very new for customers as well. They don't always know that they're in an AI environment. Sometimes when customers are searching for things like we would do in any search environment, AI can be enabled, and we'll know that if people have turned that on. I think AI is starting to become very universal. It's becoming ubiquitous. It's changing the way that people find our brand. So they might be finding it in environments which we aren't necessarily in. Like they might be finding it through recommendations with other people. And we need to ensure that we are still facilitating a positive experience in every place where they will find us. So probably the biggest thing is they're finding us in locations that we're not necessarily directing them to, but once they have engaged in a conversation with us, how can we make that as positive as possible? Agentic is challenging to measure for many businesses because it touches so many areas of marketing. And when you look at marketing specific, AI is sometimes, often the case, brought in as a technology solution. But what we need to realize is that once you've deployed AI, there is a whole raft of other things that need to happen to help sustain that AI and ensure that it delivers what your targets are for the business. And that is down to talent, training, and the right ecosystem. So it's not just about deploying an AI and sometimes through enterprise SaaS technology or other types of AI. Once you've done a test, you've done a proof of concept, you need to ensure that that AI can operate in the most beneficial way through an entire ecosystem. So hiring the right people, getting the right resource in place, and ensuring that you have a roadmap to develop that AI will ensure its success, and the measurement of it as well. So ROI and AI is also being looked at, making sure that your goals and your KPIs linked to that AI can be tracked. So are there metrics that you can link back, and then developing a roadmap for doing that in the future.